what security fundamentals do we really need to pay attention to?
So in 30 years of doing what I do, I've been a CISO and a CTO for 30 years. The fundamentals haven't changed. Everybody's talking zero trust right now, like it's this new evolution and it's the way we're going to save the world. Zero trust is over 30 years old. Nothing has fundamentally changed. It's really the time, the wherewithal, and people that you apply to a situation and experience and the layers of protection, those things have all stayed the same. What's really frustrating about right now is because of I said this a bunch of times, you guys are going to get tired of hearing me say it, is that the industry, because we've gone to a completely distributed world and the edge has moved out, has decided that security has to be at the endpoint. And the change is, everybody's calling XDR services today, is that they are saying that security is, XDR is endpoint plus integration with other tools that do security, so that we can get information and map it and coordinate. And it's not enough. It's just some log data, and endpoint security doesn't solve the issue. It's the layers of security. And it doesn't change with regards to these solutions. It's all of the things that the bad guys can take advantage of with this generative AI approach, is figuring out ways to get around these security controls that we're putting in place. And if we're blocking and tackling the lion's share of the attack vectors, we're preventing the lion's share of these things from getting in our network. Number one, 93% of all attacks start in email or some sort of ishing. So let's stop the ishing, and whatever new ishing comes out, let's make sure we have tools that are addressing that as well.
Well, maybe even before they get to the end user.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. I mean, wouldn't it be great if you didn't have to rely on them?
we shouldn't have our accounts payable clerk getting a deep fake call from the CEO saying, I'm stuck in Barbados, send me $10 million. Right. Those are the types of things we used to deal with, and we've addressed those, but there's now going to be a new voice call that sounds like the CEO. There's going to be a new voice call that sounds like the CFO. The second layer is DNS defense. 80% of all malware that ends up getting to the machine, that exfiltrates the data, that encrypts the systems, that causes the grief in our world, that makes us go to the cyber insurance company and pay ransoms and bring in an incident response team and all those things, is 80% of that malware needs DNS to function. If you cut it off at the heels, that's only 20% of the stuff that we have to deal with. Now let's back up for a second. If you're standing in a room with 15 of your peers, 3 of those people have not only been encrypted and hacked, they've been encrypted and hacked twice. 5 of them have been hit at least once. So do you want to be in the 50% that is being hit because you thought XYZ company's XDR solution is the end-all answer? It's not. You need the layers of defense, and integration alone isn't enough. You have to have the tools in place. You have to have the layers in place. Next level is the endpoint. Once it gets to the endpoint, you darn well better be able to stop it. So that's 1 out of 5 things I'm going to tell you about.
Yeah.
It's not the answer. It's one component in your layered approach. Next level is the network itself. Almost nobody, everybody talks about zero trust, but nobody's touching the network. Not one security vendor out there is addressing the network other than finding anomalies on it, but no protections. What's the problem with the network? Once that malware gets to the endpoint and that endpoint is missing its EDR solution, or they figured out how to bypass the EDR, it spreads to other systems in the network. And it spreads in more and more intelligent ways that are harder for the system to identify. It uses credentials it's captured from your domain admins so that it can easily spread through the network. And the attack surface becomes your entire company because nobody's doing network security well. So microsegmentation, reduce the attack surface, reduce the risk. Segmentation is not new. Microsegmentation is more new. But the world isn't doing it. Nobody's doing it right because it's hard. It's really hard.